Alright everyone, so this video is to walk you guys through your very first essay assignment. And you guys have really been looking at a huge context of American Lit since the end of the Civil War. So you've seen sort of the change in how American experiences evolved, what it means to be an American, what is an American identity post-Civil War, all the way up through the beginning of World War I. So the prompt is going to be very simple. You are going to choose one of the authors that you read in the unit, and you're going to make a written analysis of a work from that author. So you're going to use all of the elements you've been using in all of the written assignments, the blogs, the discussion boards, everything, kind of incorporating all of the contextual elements around their life, the cultural history, or the larger historical impact of that work. So you are contextualizing historically the author and their work in relation to the political, social, economic, and or philosophical changes that took place during this time period. So essentially, what is this new American identity? How is it reflected in the work? So what are the issues with it? What are the strengths of it? How is it reflected in the work? And how does the author's identity, their background, and what's going on in the time period historically, contextually, whether it's in terms of economics, in terms of philosophy, in terms of art, in terms of thought, leadership, in terms of law, how is that reflected through this work? So some things you can really think about. How does the author in the work influence or impact the social, political, or economic change in America? So something like Upton Sinclair would work really well there because there was an actual legal precedent that was created based on his work. Something like, how does the author work fit or not fit this quote-unquote American identity? How does it go against that new American identity? So someone like Charlotte Perkins Gilman fights against this notion of what a woman should be, or what mental health is, or what postpartum depression is, or what a motherhood is, or what gender dynamics and gender roles are. She challenges all these things. So how does maybe she not fit this with this traditional idea of what a quote-unquote American person is? It's just an idea or an example. Same thing with Zit Khalasa. You could look at how does the author or work help shape the new American ideas. Walt Whitman is a huge voice in helping us understand the identity of what a quote-unquote America is. Pioneers are pioneers, right? How does the author approach the subject matter? How does their work achieve a particular social or political goal or message, or how is it historically situated? Look at Du Bois, look at Jack London, look at Twain. Look at their works and how they are commenting on something that's happening historically, contextually, and how does their work do something? How does it do something specific? What are they trying to achieve with that work? What kind of action are they trying to inspire, or thought are they trying to inspire? So these are just things you can really think about, and I've let this really broad on purpose because I want you guys to be able to pick the author and the subject matter that you want to talk about. So within each of these authors, there's a lot to talk about. I want you to keep it kind of narrow. So don't try and talk about everything within one author. With Charlotte Perkins Gilman, I just gave you about 5 or 6 different ideas. I would pick 1 or 2 of those and really focus in on that if you were going to pick her, for example. So really important. Think of why the author and the text matter. Think of that as the most important question. Why does it matter that we read Twain? Why does it matter that we have the voice of Du Bois? Why does it matter that we have Zit Khalasa? But really make sure that to keep the focus on the work. As interesting and as important as the author's context is and the historical context is, that should be secondary to the actual focus on breaking down the text and analyzing the text most importantly. So I want to make sure that's really, really clear. You need at least 2 research resources in your work. You guys have found and incorporated some of these already. I give you guys helpful hints and links, biographies and things. You can go to anything like history.com, biography.com, PBS. All of these are great resources that you can use. So just make sure that they are legitimate, make sure they are credible, make sure you cite them correctly, and include them in a bibliography. You should have really the main parts of a normal essay, right? A clear thesis and good main ideas, Expand them with good, solid evidence from the text, most importantly. So give me lots of good quotes from the text to back up what you are arguing. And then support that even further with two outside sources. Make sure you pull quotes from those outside sources, or just pull the information at least if it's something like a biography, contextualization. But really, quotes are usually better. Use specific, again, words, phrases, or passages to support your claim. So use quotes. Paraphrasing is good. Paraphrasing works. It's important. But quotes are much stronger than paraphrasing. And then expand on those with good analysis. So your essay is going to be 3 to 4 pages in length. So that means 3 pages at minimum down to the bottom. If you write less than that, I do take off points. And it's double spaced, so it really is not that long in the end with, you know, a full, nice essay structure. It's due by Sunday, October 1st at midnight. Let me say this, you are more than welcome to write 4 pages if you like, but you just have to write at least 3 minimum. Again, due by Sunday, October 1st at midnight. Do not wait until the deadline to submit. Submit well before the deadline in case you have any technical issues. Remember that all essays will be checked for plagiarism through Safe Assign database, and then make sure that you have the 3-page minimum, as I said. So here are all the authors that you have read in this unit. You may choose from any of these. It does need to be one of the works from these authors that you read in the class. It can't be a work that you didn't read for this class, unfortunately, just because I need to keep these kind of in line with one another. For your assessment, you are going to be assessed on making sure that you stick close to the text. So make sure that you're really looking at the work and its concepts, and then secondarily the author and the historical context. Look at lots of good concrete evidence to support your ideas, both from the text, the primary, and the secondary outside resources. Proper number of resources required, so make sure you have at least 2 with the bibliography. The bibliography does not count as one of your pages. Make sure that's an extra page. Proper page length MLA and citations, you know how to do all of that. Again, make sure you cite in text as well. That's important. So if you get an idea, information, numbers, anything, a quote, paraphrase from a source, make sure you cite it. A fully developed essay structure, you know how to do that, and then careful and clear organization of all ideas. Just some ideas to help you when you're looking at breaking down a text. Remember, look at characterization, look at literary devices. That's always a really good way to kind of dive deep into something. So if you're looking at Sarah Orne Jewett, look at the symbol of the white heron. What does it mean? Dive deep into it. Or was it Colosseum? What does the telegraph pole symbolize? Things like that would work. Look at the structure. So what's the conflict here? Something like Jack London, the whole man versus nature conflict would be really interesting to explore. Look at the literary concept, themes, motifs, allusions. Look at historical contextualization. Look at the author, the work, the events surrounding the text. So if you're going to talk about Twain, if you're going to talk about his war prayer, then you need to look at the events. What are we looking at as far as the Civil War? Contextualize it. If you're going to look at Upton Sinclair, same thing. What are the events surrounding the meatpacking industry in Chicago that would inform how we look at this work? Any historical, social, ethical, moral ideas as well discussed in the text. So that's all there to just help you. Give this a little bit of thought. Make sure you think through what you want to talk about. You're going to post what your idea is on the discussion board. If you post it early enough in the week, I will try to comment with some ideas or suggestions. If you have any questions, you can put it on there as well. If you have questions, please do email me. But again, pick something that's interesting to you. Pick something that you really want to talk about for 3 pages. And if you have questions, let me know.